first graders. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing as good as I am. I'm really excited today because we get to read one of my favorite books called Tilly and the Wall by one of my favorite authors, Leo Lionni. And when I read this book, you know what one of the things that I'm thinking is? I'm thinking, you know what? It really sounds like Leo Lionni is trying to teach me something when I'm reading this. And then I looked at the book and I said, but it's a fiction book. Could he really be teaching me something if it's a fiction book and not nonfiction? So first graders, today, what we're going to talk about is how we can find what is the lesson in a fiction book. How we can think about what is the author trying to teach us in this fiction book. So today we get to do that with Tilly and the Wall. So our big question is, what is the lesson? And we're going to start by thinking about, I think that the author of, Tilly and the Wall is trying to teach the reader, My evidence is, another word for evidence is reasons. So let's read the book to find out what is Leo Lionni trying to teach us in Tilly and the Wall, and what evidence or what reasons do we have that tells us that's what he's trying to teach us. Are you ready? Let's go.
Tilly and the Wall by Leo Lionni. The wall had been there ever since the mice could remember. They had never paid attention to it. They never asked themselves what was on the other side, nor, for that matter, if there was another side at all. They went about their business as if the wall didn't exist. The mice loved to talk. They chatted endlessly about this and that, but no one ever mentioned the wall. Only Tilly, the youngest, would stare at it, wondering about the other side. At night, while the others were asleep, she would lie in her bed of straw, wide awake, imagining beyond the wall a beautiful, fantastic world inhabited by strange animals and plants. "We must see the other side," she told her friends. "Let us try to climb." They tried, but as they climbed, the wall seemed higher and higher. With a long, rusty nail, they tried to make a hole to peep through. "It is only a question of patience," said Tilly. But after working an entire morning, they gave up, exhausted, without having made even a dent in the hard stone. "The wall must end somewhere," Tilly said. They walked and walked for many hours. The wall apparently had no end. But one day, not far from the wall, Tilly saw a worm digging itself into the black earth. How could she not have thought of that before? Why hadn't anyone thought of that before? Full of excitement, Tilly began to dig. She dug and she dug until suddenly, almost blinded by the bright sunlight, she was on the other side of the wall. She couldn't believe her eyes. Before her were mice, regular mice. The mice gave Tilly a great welcome party. They took her to their celebration pebble. Had she seen that before somewhere? They made speeches in her honor and waved flags. Then they decided to go through Tilly's tunnel to see for themselves what the other side was like. One by one, they followed Tilly. And when the mice on Tilly's side of the wall saw what Tilly had discovered, there was another party. The mice threw confetti. Everyone shouted, "Tilly, Tilly, Tilly," and they carried Tilly high in the air in triumph. Since that day, the mice go freely from one side of the wall to the other, and they always remember that it was Tilly who first showed them the way. The end.
It's a good book, isn't it? All right. So now we're going to think about, I think the author of Tilly and the Wall is trying to teach the reader, So one of the things that I like to do when I'm trying to find the lesson is I go back in the book and I think about the most important events. So when I'm thinking about the most important events that I'm seeing, well, Tilly wanted to get over the wall, right? And you know what I noticed? I noticed that she tried a whole bunch of different ways to get over the wall. She tried climbing, she tried poking a hole in the wall, she tried to walk around the wall, and she tried to dig a hole, and that way finally got in. You know what I noticed about Tilly? Tilly does not give up. She tried and tried and tried different things to get over the wall. So that's why I think the author of Tilly and the Wall is trying to teach the reader, don't give up. My evidence or my reasons that I think that is because Tilly tried climbing. She tried to make a hole. She tried to walk around the wall. And she dug a hole. She tried a lot of different ways and didn't give up and finally got it. That's why I think that the author is trying to teach us, don't give up. So today, first graders, what you get to do is you get to read a book that you have, and you get to think about this same thing. You get to think about what the author is trying to teach you and what evidence or reasons you have that that's the lesson that the author is trying to teach you. All right, are you ready to go get started? All right, go read.